Hello and welcome everyone. Today I'm going to explain you the expedition. In the expedition, at least in expedition 2 and 3, the idea is that you are taking back a hostage taken village, and for that you're going to need certain units that are very beneficial for you in the mission without being too costly, because all the casualties your units take have to be resupplied, therefore costing you bronze. To minimize your costs, I will show you now my loadout of units that I'm going to take with me. I recommend you the following 5 units. 2 completely random peasant units that you want to choose. Either farmers, watchmen or serfs, or you know that I do not recommend the woodcutters, but whichever one you want. 2 of them are good enough even for expedition 3. Then I would recommend the Pike Militia ones, the Spear Militia ones, and basically any type of ranged infantry unit, preferably not the expensive ones from the Silver era. And I'm going for the Iron Cap Arquebusiers because as you can see, I've already spent some honor to further increase their fire rate, which will make them just the best choice in this situation. What you get a lot from the expedition, or you get a little bit of resources for crafting, and you get a lot of unit XP out of it. So, enough being said about the units, let's go and find a battle. So as I said, we want to take the Pike Militia, and I'm going for the Elite Serfs and the Village Watchmen. These 2 peasant units are just being invested to get to the center of the village. Here you can see some villagers being shot down. That looks unhealthy. 2 of them survived, that's good. Alright, as you can see, there's already pretty strongly armored units in the first few moments. But if you send in units like the Village Watchmen with a long range weapon, as such as the pikes, and you keep the enemy units stun locked, your casualties in this first meeting should be rather minor. The bigger problem are their archers. So for that, it sometimes makes sense to already bring a Spear Militia in the beginning. So these first advances versus quite heavily armored units and strong units have already cost me, let's say, almost 80% of my units now. So we're going to lose them definitely before we get to the city center. It's just too many, and it takes too long to kill them because they are heavily armored. And maybe I've just not skilled so well yet. So as you can see, my unit is dead. We should just take the supply point to bring in more units, which is what I'm going to do in a moment. Elite serfs. But yeah, because that's really stupid. That's a really bad situation right here. Now we're going to send our serfs in. I would recommend you to take at least 1 peasant unit with a shield, like the woodcutters or serfs, preferably serfs, just so because they survive a little bit longer against ranged units such as archers. You can even send them in to push them, which also works in PvP, just in case you were wondering. And now we're at the enemy Arquebusiers. We've barely taken any hits this time, because we send in our units first. And if you take some precious units, you don't want to waste them. So that's why we're taking at least 2 peasant units into the expedition. Well, they will do their job as cannon fodder while keeping your bronze costs low. And then we have to go and rescue these villagers. And this we do by killing the guards around them. They're usually marked on top of their head. And once the last guard is fallen, the villagers are rescued. And now they will move on to the village center, which is very important to protect. So I've seen a few villagers, I've seen a few musketeers, arquebusiers, but no Spear Militia yet. So I'm bringing in the Spear Militia now to go and protect our ranged units. And wave 1 will attack. Then now we can see where the enemy units are going to come from. So we can just send our unit here in the town center, and our range units should do the job while the enemies are approaching. When you're solo queuing and you bring these units with you into the game, you should always check what units did your teammates bring into the game, and choose the next unit you're going to bring in accordingly. Okay, let's see how long we can survive against these Arquebusiers. Yeah, the good thing about the Nodachi is, while you are dealing damage, you can heal yourself up a little bit. That's why risky maneuvers like this one are not too bad of an idea, actually. And now we need to send our troops here. So we got rid of them, which is nice. And my units, because this is very important right now. You see the yellow sign above you. Now the artillery is aiming for me. And now you see that red circle. This is where the enemy artillery will strike. When the enemy artillery is aiming for you, please, please, please run away from the villagers. Because you're basically calling in an artillery strike on yourself. And you have to control where it will strike. If you stand in allied troops, they will get quite angry at you. If you stand in the villagers, it might actually cause the defeat of the mission, and everything you have achieved in that round will be lost, while you still take full casualties on your units. This is the reason why we're bringing in Pike Militia. I believe it's Pike Militia what they have. And the Pike Militia, unlike the Pike units before them in the trees, like the Mesne Pikemen and the Village Watchmen, they have the ability Brace. So they will stand down, hold their ground, and any cavalry charging in, they will just immediately die, as you've just seen. So the combination of shield and pikes, a shield wall with pikes in them, is really powerful in this game. Also for PvP, but in PvP the enemies will bring in something like artillery. In this PvE content, it's, well, you're not playing versus smart human players, you're just playing versus a computer that follows a certain movement, right? So here it's just amazing to see that wall. Nothing will penetrate it, which is very important, because often in the end it's the cavalry actually that charges through your allied infantry units. And oh, the artillery is aiming again. It's not aiming for us. I've seen I've had it a few times already that players are AFK in the middle of the village center, and then the artillery is shooting for them, and it's just a pain to watch that, to watch the game being lost. Yeah, this guy, he should leave. Yeah, now that's the point. They should have moved their units. Oh, it seems like one of our allies was dead, so they couldn't possibly have moved their units. But that's the problem. So even though I'd say in general my teammates know what they're doing right now, you have that more often where people stand in more crucial places while the artillery is shooting for them. And as I said, now the cavalry can come through. We don't have the pike wall anymore. We don't have the pike militia anymore. So I'm going to place my spear militia on these farmer units now, which everyone else in my team is doing as well. And then you can just peacefully kill the enemy cavalry and, very importantly, the enemy officer. And if you look now, there's a red marker. And this red marker is a cavalry unit that is often stuck. So if you get a problem in the end of the map, search for this cavalry unit here at this edge of the map. And as you just saw, I just killed a cannon. That is one of the artillery cannons. If you want, you can go and take them out early on. The problem is it will take you resources and time. And if you have a team that pays attention, you don't really have to do that. If you feel like you're unlucky with your teammates, maybe you should try and go and kill their artillery. And there we have it. We won the game. The bronze that we earn is really not worth mentioning. The XP. Now, even though we only get 3,100 XP, the unit XP is almost 16,000. So if you can manage to go in here with, let's say, 2 peasant units and 1 unit that you want to level up, especially Spear Militia, Pike Militia or Arquebusiers, this expedition is a viable strategy to go for. And now the weekly quest will give me this here. And a nice boost in XP. And what do you get from this reward if you did the Expedition 3? This is the best one you can get. Resources and silver. And not really that many resources and not... yeah. It's rather for the XP, I think. To do the weekly quests, you get a nice amount of XP. But, yeah, in general, that was it. If you should take anything from this tutorial with you, Expedition is good for leveling up units. Watch out for the artillery marker above your head. The yellow circle is the pay attention circle. Then the red circle is the run away from everything that is allied to you. If that helped you in any way, if there are any questions that I haven't answered yet, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching the video, and see you in the next one. Yeah, I might as well just open up all these boxes in case you guys like opening stuff. Yeah, bronze. Okay, these are the small bags that you find on the map. These are the better ones apparently. These are the ones that I got from battles. Very nice. These are also found on the map. Ah, and this one gives you 4,300. Not bad. Alright then.